First thing on the agenda would be the minutes of the last meeting.
There was two things, and I think Tony has got a couple of the things handled. Under highway, fixing the vertical and horizontal slats, I think you changed that to just talk about the horizontal,
Right.
the height of the railing. And the other thing, under the Historical Society, we've got to approve the budget request of 3,600, which was actually 10,000, but I think we tabled that, didn't we?
It has changed.
I thought we
We put it up for discussion that we would take and
Yeah,
see
the
what.
way the minutes read, it sounds like we approved their request. And so that's what I'm wondering.
I
Says
will add,
to approve the budget request.
We approved, what we did, we had a consensus that we would go ahead and consider it for a line item.
Consider it for a line
Yeah,
item, but,
yeah.
yeah, like I said, in here, it makes it sound like we actually approved the
Yeah,
10,000.
yeah.
I'll change that wording.
Yeah, so,
Okay, with those changes, one of them has already been made, and with that additional change, then I'll need a motion to go ahead and accept, subject to change.
second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we go ahead and approve the minutes, Tony, with the subject to change on that one item. Okay,
Looking to see if this is,
we'll go ahead and change that, and then we won't sign this one here, okay?
yeah, that's fine. You ready for,
Yep, we're
okay, I
ready.
have monthly allied insurance claims in the amount of $52,002.41, 52,002.41. I'll pass this around so you can look and see on the second page what it is. Okay.
If you don't have any questions, I'll take a motion to approve that claim. Motion's been made and seconded, we approve the allied claim of $52,002.41. Okay, what else you got, Tony?
1 second, I'm trying to fix that one thing here. I think the only other
Do you
thing-
think they could do that year-to-date for us on the medical, like they had done that one time?
I will tell her. Right now, we've got audit, we've got 20,000
Oh,
other
I see.
things.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we'll get to it when we can.
Yeah, that's fine. It's nothing urgent.
Tony, you have a balance in the medical accounts.
Yeah,
chance?
if I kept it. 1 second. I'll get that for you. I'm gonna email
Okay,
Rita.
okay, we can go ahead and, you can get that later. We'll go ahead and, what you got next?
Carla has 4 grants that she's going to discuss, and this will also have to go before council. It's both commissioners and council need to sign it. We've had those before.
Okay, very good. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, I've gotten 4 different grants in the last couple of weeks. 2 of them I've already signed because they were very time sensitive. Everything had to be done before June 30th on their end, so we had to sign them and go ahead with those. The one was $50,000 more for the testing site. Adams Memorial has been doing the testing site for us. They're going to continue this site from June 30th to December 31st. So that was the one that we approved. Do you have them in any specific order?
It's in those two accounts, the health insurance. Okay. I'm sorry, go
Tony,
ahead.
do you have them in any specific order?
Not necessarily, just, I actually only had the two that you had given me written down, so I'm gonna need the other two. I'll need to write those two down,
Okay.
because originally it was just those two, and then you brought two more down, so.
Yeah.
But I have
Do you want them to sign that copy? You want them to sign my copy?
signed both.
Sign both.
They might as well sign yours and this one, because we'll need to keep a copy up there as well.
Okay.
So
I'll
you
go
can look
ahead
through
and
and
get
see.
that. I picked the one that was on your bottom. So this is for $50,000 more for the site for Adams County Memorial to keep testing for coronavirus.
So this grant will finance the hospital continuing
Yes,
to
it
do
has to
their
pass through the local health department
Gotcha.
because all that money has to go through to the health department, but we've contracted, Adam Miller creates the contract and we contract with Adams Memorial Hospital and
Right.
they're doing it for us.
So, Mark, should we go ahead and approve these one by one, or can we do it as a group?
You can probably do it as a group.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we got the one for 50, okay, go ahead with the next one.
We're getting a grant called the Immunization and Vaccine of Children COVID-19 Vaccination Supplement 3. That just means that we're gonna continue vaccinating children for their children's shots, and that we will also offer the COVID-19 to them when it's now in their age groups. And that we're getting from the beginning of this year, January 1st, 2021, through 18 months this year until July 1st of
July
next
1st
year.
of 20.
And that's $72,000, $445.21. That will be a 3-year grant, and it's actually for all the COVID shots that we've already given and then continue to give.
What was the amount again?
$72,445.21.
And then that is divided by 3, or that is a per year?
That's for the
total.
18 months.
That's the total amount of the grant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for 18 months. So I'll give you one copy of it, and I'll put one copy right here. And the only thing in that is we have to do some inspections for the state, but we're not an enforcement agency for it, we're just doing some inspections. And then we have the reimbursement grant. It's not it's a grant, but it's for the insurance that we've already billed for through Zotec for all of the COVID shots that we have given here. They're just getting the money from the insurance companies. They take a fee and then send the rest of the money to us. So they're just now getting started at doing the insurance. So all that money will be funneled to us. Is it going into a line item, or is it? And then it's going into our services line item.
Okay.
So we get Medicaid and Medicare already that we do, and then this is just a grant to funnel it through.
How much is the dollar on that one?
There is no
There's
dollar amount.
just- okay, we have to
Because
wait.
they get the money and then it comes back
Okay.
to us, so it's just funneling that money and information to us. And then my fourth grant is for my position that we get every year. I mean, they don't have a grant, we just requested it. I haven't signed this one because I've just made an intent. I've just sent them a letter of an intent that we're gonna continue my position for the next year. And that does not have a dollar amount on it yet because I have not received the grant itself.
Okay, but I have to sign that one, right?
Yes, you'll still have to sign
Yeah,
it.
okay. Okay, very good. Gentlemen, we got 4 different grants. We need to have a motion made for me to assign them as a chairperson.
I'd make that motion.
Okay, motion's been made, second, that we go ahead and allow the chairperson of the commissioners to sign your 4 grants for you.
Okay.
Thanks. This is the amount in checking.
Which one?
That's the amount in checking for health insurance.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll have to, Bree's hunting down the savings part of it.
Oh, okay, very good. Right, thanks.
She's gotta call Kathy.
Do I need to sign 2 different copies for you then?
He's saying yes.
Tony? Okay.
One for me and one for us.
Yeah. Then one will get sent in to the state or whatever, and then the other ones, we always like to keep a copy on hand as well. Scan them and so forth.
Hey, Grant, for your position, does that pay the full salary?
It pays my full salary.
Okay.
Last year plus $8,000. We bought a trailer and different things
Good.
with the extra. This year, we're probably only gonna get $4,000 more, but we don't know until everybody signs their letter
I
of
think
intent.
that's one set
They
there.
have one pot, so however many they have, you get $25,000 for the position to pay the, payroll, and then you get, maybe a $4,000 extra for, incidental supplies and whatever else you need in the county. Last year it was $8,000 because the year before they didn't give us any extra because of COVID and everything interrupted all of that process. So,
Very good. So this is one full set that you gave me, right?
Yeah,
and the
should be.
commissioners and our health board approved the trailer vehicle, so. Any big items like that, I have to go to the.
You should have, 2 of them for 50, 2 of them for 72,000.
I'm missing the bottom. Oh, here it is. This should be all 4 years.
Okay,
I'll sign them after council signed them,
okay.
or before, or something. Christie. You shred them right there. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Here's the corrected minutes.
Oh,
These are corrected.
All right.
First time I've had them before. Done with me?
Yep. Thank you very much, Carl. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Carla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony, these are,
Going on.
should be 4 different sets there.
That's what I do.
And those will have to go before council as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, Stan, this is a
Those are
corrected
correct.
minutes.
Oh, okay.
and Rex had asked what we have in health insurance. The checking right now is $2,418,904.61. $2,418,904.61. And the savings, I don't know. They've got Kathy looking it up.
Okay. All right, Tony, what else you got?
Thankfully, that is it.
Is that it? Okay.
I have it easier than Brad today.
Okay, Brad, you're up.
Of course, I have to write down everything Brad's doing, so I guess I really don't.
I think we have some people here, we got a bid opening for Bridge, what, 106?
Bridge 106, bid opening today, so I'll hand these out and you can do that first.
And we got some people here in attendance. Would you like to introduce yourself for the minutes? And Tony, you're gonna get the names?
Hopefully the names you've got written down
You got
on
them
that
written
sheet of
down?
paper, I'm hoping.
Well, yeah, and as far as who turned in versus not this two.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself and who you're with, please.
I'm Kendra, and I'm with RG Deckers Construction out of Defiance, Ohio.
Okay,
Natalie Rowe with Firmco Incorporated.
okay.
Troy Meyer, Blue Ball.
Well, very good. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate that.
I think I got it. Okay. I got some. So yeah, we have bid openings today, and I am by myself. The lady that's in the office is off, so we gotta have somebody cover the office. So bear with me, we'll get started on this and get through it. All right, first off,
I guess that being said, I do want to say that we sure appreciate, the extra work that's been thrown on you with not having an engineer in the office.
thank you, I appreciate that. It's definitely been interesting and keeps me busy.
Yeah. I bet.
All right, the first one we have is Judy Excavating out of Fort Recovery. So I have their financial statement. I have their bid bond. I have their Form 96. Thank you. So, one more thing that was- And I have their non-included.
Okay.
I think that should be everything. All right, Judy Excavating, bid, $1,290,120. Hang on a minute, let me make sure I'm reading the right thing. Nope, hang on. That was. I think I was reading the wrong thing. Okay, there I go, I found the right one. All right. So, sorry about that, their bid is $773,112.90. $773,112.90.
Wonder what the 1 million was.
Yeah.
I was reading off equipment schedule,
That was just your salary number?
not mine. I'd have to do a lot more than that.
Stan's in a generous spirit today.
Yeah, he is. All right, the next one I have is Pioneer Associates out of Albion, Indiana. All right. I have their bid bond. I have their non-collusion. I have their financial statement. And I have their Form 96. Make sure I'm reading the right thing this time. All right, and their bid is $1,181,832.35. $1,181,832.35. All right, the next one I have is from Primco out of Fort Wayne. And I have their Form 96. I have their financial statement. I have their non-collusion. And I have their bid bond. All right. So Primco's bid, $976,709.99. $976,709.99. The next one I have for RG Zachrich out of Defiance, Ohio. And I have their Form 96. And I have their financial statement. I have their non-collusion. And I have their bid. And their bid is $967,820.95. $967,820.95.
That's the total amount. This is savings. That is checking.
This is a good number of bidders. It seems like we've got a lot of interest.
Yes,
was the
yes, we do
correct
have a lot of
total.
interest in this one. Okay, the next one is from Brumball Construction out of Arcanum, Ohio. And I have their Form 96. I have their non-collusion. And I have their bid bond. Financial statement, that's it.
Yeah.
And here's their financial statement. All right. Their bid is $881,915. $881,915. All right, the last one I have is Miller Brothers Construction out of Archbold, Ohio.
What's the name of the company?
Miller Brothers.
Miller
Construction.
Brothers. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And I have their financial statement.
Yeah, they sent it to all you guys.
I have their Form 96.
I thought Dan did.
I did.
I have their bid bond. One more I'm looking for. And there, finally, the non-collusion. All right, their bid. $1,003, $1,003,917.10. $1,003,917.10.
Okay, gentlemen. I need a motion to table this until next week so Brad can have it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Brad, take it under advisement and come back next week, okay?
Yep.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
It always surprises me when there's that much variation in bids.
Yeah, after that many bids, there's some variation, but.
That's what your job is, to look them all over. and
Exactly.
Be sure everything is calculated properly and we got the right information.
All right,
Okay,
so
what
last
Go ahead.
week, we'd opened up the paving bids for community crossings and went through them. Everything looked good, so at this time, we'd like to tentatively award to Brooks Paving. Until we find out, make sure our funding and all that, where that's at. So we'll tentatively award it to Brooks.
Okay. I need a motion to that effect. You tentative-
Probably, yes, I need a motion to
Yeah,
tentatively.
tentatively.
And, yep.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we go ahead and tentatively approve Brooks paving then on that.
All right, next
Contract.
thing.
Okay,
I have two applications for permit to install utility facilities in Indiana, Adams County. And they're both from AEP, so can we read them both and do them both at the same time?
yeah, we'll go ahead and do
Like
them
normal?
both. Yeah, right.
Okay, the first one is on County Road 700 North between 500 East and 600 East. And they're going to install a new pole on the south side of the road. There's a new house being built, so they want to put a pole up to go across the road to the other pole. Then the other one is on 600 West between Highway US 124 and 100 North. They are going to install primary power under the road. They're going to bore under the road from a pole on the east side to the west side. It's another new house going up, so they're just gonna bore in another, or a primary power for that. And they're only boring 115 feet. So we went out and looked at both of them, saw no problems with where either one of them are or what they want to do.
Wonder how they decide whether to bore or whether to put a line overhead.
I know in talking to one of the gentlemen from AEP, they did say there's sometimes where they would like to go overhead, but people will pay extra to have them
Oh.
on board, so you don't see
Right.
them.
Gotcha.
So as far as, yeah, which one is which, normally I don't know how they decide, but I know they have been, you can pay for it to have it.
Gotcha.
Fred, what's that address again?
The first one was 700
Okay,
North.
I got a motion on the floor. Second, okay, motion's been made and seconded. Brad, did we go ahead and approve those permits for AEP?
Okay, 700 north between 5 and 600 east.
Probably more expensive for them to bore, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he said that was what's surprising, sometimes the homeowners would rather have it bored and they're willing to pay for it, so. The second one,
Depends how many feet you
600
have to go
west.
to.
Yeah.
between 124 and 100 north.
Thank you.
Okay, Brad, anything else you got?
So, last week came in and, spoke to you about, we talked to Jay County and they agreed to go ahead and, share that cost with us. And I did not get your permission to go ahead and put this out for bid if you guys are so willing. We talked about it and said that was a good deal. We have, plans are all done. We did that all initially, just so we knew where we'd stand and how much it was gonna be. So I'd like to ask your permission today to send out, bids for 1200 South, the riverbank stabilization there that we want to do.
Did Tim draw up specs, so we have a set of specs for
ready to
that
go.
already? Okay.
Yep, Tim had that all ready. It's all ready to go. The engineers, that engineering firm we hired, they drew up all the plans and put their stamp of approval on it.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, need a motion on that.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. We go ahead and approve
Yeah, I got back
For you to
last
go
week to the office.
for
I'm
bids
like,
on that, okay.
"Can't believe I forgot to ask you guys." All right, the only two other things I have is, on culvert project, culvert 406 on 350 North. KBL Transport is doing that job and they asked for a job extension. He said they would like to have it, they will have it done by the end of August. They want to be done before school starts. It's just if they could, it's a pretty minor, it's just a smaller culvert crossing the road they're gonna do. And I didn't feel that'd be a problem, just give him some more time to finish it.
Is
So,
that the one that asked for an extension before?
yes,
So the same one?
yep.
So they're pretty confident about the August?
He wants it done before school starts.
I see.
Okay, need a motion, gentlemen.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. We grant that extension.
Culvert number again.
Covered 406.
Yep, 406.
And who's doing that work?
KBL Transport.
Thank you.
The last thing I have, we had, in Oakwood, Rios Woods, whatever you know it by, south of Decatur there. We plow the roads and maintain the roads in there. We don't really help with anything else. But they approached us and were wondering if we'd at least be willing to come in and use we have a jetter or a potter. If we would be willing to jet out some of those storm drains in there, try and help them get an idea of what they have and just maybe clean it out for them. So I thought I would come ask you guys, all it's gonna be is using our machine, jet out their lines. We're not gonna do any other work at this point, so just wanted to come and ask you guys and see what you thought about it.
You're recommending that?
Yeah, if what we're gonna do is go in and jet it, it might take us a few days to do it, but then it would help them. They know what they got that way, maybe we can even figure out where some of it goes, so.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I think he had emailed about that too, and I didn't even understand exactly what you're gonna do, but.
Yeah, they actually, they have somebody in there kind of looking over their whole system now, but just to get some of this kind of work done, they really don't have, I don't know how to say, they don't have a way to do it, and their money's limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we
And
got the
it's not like
capabilities.
it creates any issues as far as, hey, we might blow their tile apart or,
No.
or creates any liability that
No.
way or,
No, because they're separated,
okay.
so it's gonna be strictly storm drains that
Yeah.
we would be looking at.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. We go ahead and approve that request, Brad.
Didn't we have a drainage issue on the west side of?
We got a problem, but it hasn't been, Rod's working on that.
I
Maumee
see.
River Basin Commission's working on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That'd be a good point, though, to bring up. Maybe I should bring it up on Thursday night. Find out exactly where they're at.
Yeah.
He thought it would be could be up to a year and a half before it even gets resolved.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
That's all on my list, and all the papers are open. I think we're good.
Okay, all right.
You had your homework to do.
Yep. Thank you guys
Emergency
again.
admission to Golden House. Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Brad. Appreciate it. That brings us to you, Rick.
Friday, excuse me, Friday, our sprinkler system was tested at the courthouse. Everything passed. However, every 5 years, it's recommended that, and it's up in October, that they come back and change our gauges and valves on it. You're supposed to give me a quote for that. So I will be coming to you later when I get that, and bring that quote to you
That 5 years is coming up?
in October.
October.
Okay.
It's October.
Gotcha.
But everything passed, everything is good. Rex, I'm not sure if you want me to bring out the issue that we have here.
Yeah, you might as well bring it up, on the chillers. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a issue with our AC in the complex here. Two of our compressors are out. Unfortunately, one of the control panels for the one chiller is a refurbished one, and the other one is not functioning properly. I do have a quote in front of me for the two items that I said here, the compressors and the control panels. And that quote is for $85,219.23. $85,219.23. But something else, I was hoping to have that, probably for the holiday, I didn't get it. I was a little bit late coming in here. Just trying to get that information. Verbally, to replace the whole chiller is approximately $150,000. We have two of them. They're 26 years old. The bulk of the $85,000 I presented is in the control panels. They're $30,000 a piece. The compressors are $12,000 a piece. The problem is, if something goes later in the future here, goes wrong, we'd have to replace the chiller. We cannot use those control panels in the new chiller because they will come with it, technology's changed. So,
I'm kind of wondering too about the refrigerant. It says they're gonna recover the refrigerant and then reuse it in the new system. I wonder if that's, I don't know what type of refrigerant, if it's like, you know, the home use refrigerant, they've gone away from the R12 and they don't make it anymore. So I don't know if this is a different refrigerant or if
It'd
that's,
probably be the new refrigerant.
because it says they're gonna recover the stuff that's in there and then reuse it.
If we would go with this.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but the big thing is, if we go ahead and spend $85,000 and then we end up having to do a chiller, let's say in 2 years, then we got those control panels that we spend $60,000 on are no good.
Sure.
So,
Whereas for $150,000, they would replace all 4 control panels
two,
or 2.
Well, no.
no, one control panel. Yeah.
One chiller would be 150.
That includes one control panel and 4 compressors, right?
4 compressors per chiller, we have 8 compressors.
Right. So if we did one chiller, we get 1 control panel and 4 compressors. And that would be $150,000.
This way, all we get is 2.
Yeah, on the 85,000, we get 2 compressors, 2 control panels, of which are $60,000. Well, we're not gonna make a decision today. We're gonna take this under advisement. We need to talk about that.
Well, how urgent is it though? Because if we're going into air conditioning season, I mean, this is our air conditioning though.
It's urgent, isn't it?
That's something else too that should be brought up. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
The control panels, this 85,000 is a 3 to 4 week lead time out. The compressors, they can get. So we're already looking at a month before we'll be able to get what we have up and functioning like it should.
That is if you order them now.
That's if I order them now.
So do we currently have any air conditioning in the building?
We do, but some areas aren't going to be. And what you have is working double time to try to do it. We're gonna be warm in the building. If it gets 88, 89, there's just no way around it. There's nothing we can do at this time.
It was over 80 degrees in some of the offices when it,
Last step.
that last hot day that we had. Not all, but
So,
some of ours was.
Rick, if we would order a chiller, would that would they have that control panel available, or is that gonna be?
My understanding when we ordered a chiller, and I'm not sure what the lead time is on a whole chiller.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
But they would all be, as one. When it comes, we'll have it all. Whether that's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I was wanting to have that information, probably due to the holiday, he hasn't, I
I'm
just
sure.
haven't got a response back.
Could you give him after you leave here, could you give him a call?
Sure.
Maybe before we end up our session, that you could maybe have a lead time on that?
Sure can. I tried to.
Maybe that'll help us out a little bit, see where we're at. Okay.
Other than that,
I love your however. Everything's good, however, right?
yeah.
Okay. Well, see if you can get a hold of him and get back with us.
And in the meantime, you're gonna pass out the fans.
Well, I was hoping you guys could leave that situation somehow.
We thought we'd get a hold of Swix. You
Yeah.
know, those Swix,
They got those little
get those little fans the funeral home uses. I don't think they would appreciate that, Stan.
Might not hurt, yeah. Unless he
Yeah,
comes-
if you get a hold of him, Rick, just come back in and let us know, okay?
Yeah.
I'll try and make a copy of it.
Okay. Mark?
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Had 2 subdivisions today. this is taking
What I sent out to all you guys.
that 10 acres,
Okay. You know,
breaking
uses
out
there are so far.
the line right here, breaking out
Read through it.
farm buildings and ground from farm ground.
There's a webinar.
That's all there is to
This Friday.
Simple. Same road frontage,
Signed up to watch about it.
nothing new's happening. This will actually still be farmed. They just wanted to get this out of this. So there's over 3 acres there and over 7 acres left.
Good. Simple enough.
Yep.
Okay. I'll make a motion.
So move.
Stan?
Second.
Second, motion is made, second to approve Kurt J. Lehman subdivision. Okay, this is you. You want this back, Mark?
Yeah, I'll This is another simple replat. So this is on 400 South. And now, actually, this picture doesn't do something good. This 4 acres, which on our GIS looks like one parcel,
Right.
it's not. It's 3. It looks like this because they did it for tax reasons. It was joined, but not physically. So if you see these dotted lines right here, this is actually 1, 2, 3 parcels to start with. So they replatted it down to 2,
Okay,
which you're easily allowed to do.
okay, so you got access.
Yep, so this piece is left with an access down here, and then this is broken up. And this is a 2 acre lot.
Okay,
Road frontage on 400.
yeah, and that is the distance we need.
Yep.
A little bit exceeding.
Yep,
right?
actually, it's 35, which you only need 30.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're good to go on here.
That's all it is.
Gonna make a motion, Steve, and I'll wait till. I'll second it since I'm not here.
I don't think they want pictures of shit or anything. No, I don't think so.
then, Mark? That's it. Easy today.
I don't know what it would be. It would just be like
Tony?
Larry and Larry or something. Huh?
Motion's been made. Steve made it. I seconded
Gotcha.
on replatting the Sprunger subdivision.
You've got to change the first and the second.
Dave, he's got questions about when we did the subdivision meeting up in my
Yeah.
office. He's got 3 that are already done, completed, sales are ready to go, and like, he's trying to figure
So
out.
you get Stan's signature yet?
Already got to be on that right away issue.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I can call him.
I just spoke with him this morning.
Need Stan,
Legal.
need Stan's
Did you
signature
have
yet?
something you needed to record or anything?
I'll grab him in the back.
He's coming right here.
Because you're not on it.
Yeah.
Just let Rex know.
Did you have anything else?
That is it.
Okay, very good. Stan, we need your signature on that.
I will say that I have 3 places giving me numbers for adding some steel to the bridge.
Okay,
One is back, the other 2 I'm waiting on. So one is the guy that.
the one thing that was brought up, Mark, is that the ADA, does that meet the ADA qualifications?
Yep,
4 inches?
yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
And it has to be. They have 7-inch centers right now on the spindles they put up, and the spindles they put up, balusters, whatever, are 1 and 1/8. Which
Okay.
means they end up with a 6 7/8, 5
5
and
and
7/8.
5 and 7/8.
And it actually says you shall not pass a 4-inch sphere through. So originally somebody was trying to go 3-inch on white plate, but that would actually put you at exactly 4 inches. In a normal situation, if my ball went through but hit, I'd probably pass that, but we're not doing that today. It says shall not pass through, so 3.5-inch plate is what I'm asking for. Or 3 1/4 if they can get it for the same. 3 1/4 is a little more odd size, so it might be actually cheaper to get 3.5.
Okay,
But either way, we'll end up with a, like 3.5, 3 3/4 inch hole, so my 4-inch ball won't go through.
See, part of my question, and I kind of brought this up last week, I went up to Promenade Park a couple weeks ago. And I crossed over 3 bridges across the river. All pedestrian bridges. The first bridge was a concrete bridge with concrete balusters, and that had 6-inch spacing. I crossed over another walk bridge that had chain link fence, so that was, just the small squares. And then I crossed over a historic bridge over the river, which was 100% pedestrian, and their railing was like diagonal squares, but they had like 10-inch squares to where you could have thrown a baby through. But
10 by 10 inch.
yeah, and so I guess what I'm saying is, obviously there's a different spec for pedestrian bridges than there is for residential. And so I'm kind of wondering if this is,
Just, you're right, but
and these are current bridges.
right, and the 4 inch is not residential, it's still commercial.
Okay,
I'm looking at the commercial book. So
And-
if you
and
were-
I'm
if you
thinking
were to build
about-
a railing in this building or,
I'm thinking about bridges though.
right. Well, there is
So,
no residential.
And those are all current?
Yep.
One's across Wells Street, one's across, I can't think what the other street is. And then one is on the walkway that goes out from the park itself. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe we need to look at bridge specs differently than we look at residential or even commercial railings.
And that's possible to save money. I just brought it up, you guys don't do anything, you don't do anything. But
Yeah.
I can't understand how anything I would do here or any one of your buildings that you own today, that you would do work on, if you were 30 inches off the ground, like grass, you'd have to have 4-inch centers. And if you've been out there, it's, like
And
I said,
I
that's
don't
20
know.
feet above water.
I guess I'm curious about Bluffton too. They put that walk bridge across, how they did their railings and balusters over there too.
And it's-
And I'm not saying
It's the
that,
AASHTO standards, which I know is how they went by, which is not a bad or wrong, but
yeah,
it just makes me nervous, but that's, if you guys don't, the one price I have is $9,000.
9,000,
9,000.
9,000.
There's almost 1,000 of those, there's 990 balusters we got to deal with.
And you got 3 bids, you said?
I'm gonna be getting
Oh,
3.
you're gonna be getting 3?
I'm waiting
Okay.
on the other 2,
Okay, well, let's see what the other 2 come in at.
but that's to take 3.5-inch plate and weld it over the top of the 1.125".
Okay,
That's what they're all looking at.
okay,
And like I said, the first one's at $9,000, but that's not painting.
right.
Not painting it, which they still didn't add the 42-inch high part that they did do wrong on the bridge. They said because they did miss that part of it,
right.
they were gonna add that. That didn't happen yet. So they still have to do repainting. It'd be real handy if you guys do it, to try and get it done fast enough that when they add their rail, which they have to spend some money to repaint or get painted, it could.
Right, right.
Paint the whole works.
And you said it's 20 feet above
Well, it's
the river? or
Yeah, depending on what day it is.
Depending on what day it is, right.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's, you go across it all the time, and so it's a pretty good job.
Yeah.
okay, well, let's wait until you get the other couple bids in, and let's see what we got.
I just brought it up because it didn't look right to me, and if you guys don't change it,
Well, that's
I'm
your
okay with
job,
that too.
that's your job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Never good.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. For other matters properly presented, I guess we got Ed, Mike, and Danielle. So Ed, you want to go quick?
Thank you, gentlemen. I do have a couple things I want to go from last week. This is an updated estimate from the L&D Mailmaster Service. Rex, you had asked me to see if I could get an update,
Right.
and I did. The cost is just slightly higher than what my bid was earlier. But with that cost is $202 higher. But with that cost, that guarantees it's the brown craft envelopes that we use and we currently use and want to continue using. And so I think most of that cost is in that. So With that said, if you look on the inside of the top copy there of the estimates, the L&D part of it, which would be the printing, the sorting and mailing of of all of the tax bills would be $6,241 and change. Postage is our accurate what we paid this year. That will be cheaper through L&D because they use a 5-digit pre-sort, where all we can do locally is a 3-digit pre-sort, we do that in-house. But they'll do a 5-digit pre-sort and that'll save us even more money.
Even with the postage going up in August.
This is what actual cost we did this year.
Okay.
So whatever.
I mean, is this the quote they're giving us for,
They do not have postage increases in this quote.
okay.
I use the actual amounts of what we paid this last year. So total $12,623.82 as an estimate. Rex and I talked, and last week we talked about a reduction in my part-time labor that's involved, and I think $6,000 out of that, which is half of my budget, to throw into this pot. To me, we don't have exact costs. We won't have exact costs until they actually run it. But to me, we're going to save money. I will say that I've talked with Tom Krokenberg. He said it's going to cost a couple $1,000s more than what we're doing. I look at more savings as far as wear and tear on the machines, incidental costs such as a $200 ink cartridge for the postage machine. We replaced a drum, we replaced 2.5 toner cartridges, a waste box on the printer. All of that stuff was kind of incidentals, but nonetheless, they're true costs that I can't get an exact dollar, but they are additional costs that we have to incur. So anyway, what I would like to do is try it 1 year. If it doesn't work, we can simply go back. 1 year is gonna either save us a couple $1,000s, maybe cost us a couple thousand, but I don't think it will. But that's up to you. This is through your budget, it's not through my budget, other than the part-time labor. So that's what we need to decide, whether we keep it in your budget or if we move everything over to my budget. I would suggest that we try it a year, see what happens, and if everybody likes it, then we can move everything over to my budget. But that's really, guys, up to you.
Well, you cut $6,000 out of your part-time help. We could reduce our postage on our line item by $6,500. That would make up pretty much the projected cost that you're looking at.
Yep.
Okay, we'll take it under advisement.
Okay, the only thing is, we have budget coming up.
Yep.
And I need to have that turned in by the 15th. So, I need to have a yes or no by then, I suppose. I also am at a conference down in southern Indiana this weekend, and I am only right around an hour away from New Albany. So I have already made provisions to go to New Albany to this L&D Mailmaster service where they're at and take a tour of their facilities and get any updates that I might need on how to best prepare the tax bills and work with them. So I'll be doing that Monday and then be back Monday night and back Tuesday.
Okay.
What would happen if we gave you a final answer next Tuesday? Would that be too late
No, we'll be
for you to prepare your budget?
And all this is for next year, and I'm ready with my budget, other than, do I put the part-time half of it with you, or do I keep it on my budget?
You think that'd be appropriate, Rex?
Yeah, because we're gonna be talking about our budget.
Yeah,
Well, by then, you
and
know,
that's not due to the 15th.
if you had had a
Right,
chance
right.
to talk with them down there and come back and we'll have.
And if there's any way that I can better prepare to make additional cost savings, I want to be able to do that. But I want to see a tour of this, I guess this place is like Disneyland of printing presses.
So they've been around a while because they were in business when I was treasurer.
Highly, highly acclaimed.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, thank you. Two other things, I want to let you know, we've certified the spring collections. We did that Friday. We turned all that information over to the auditor's office, and they, at this time, then go through all of those collections we did and distribute that money into the many different funds. So that's kind of the next step after we do the collections. And the collections so far, as of this morning, we're at 98.199%. Really good, really good. Our goal was 97%. Rex and I were talking, and we just didn't know. COVID, we got that. Also, Rex asked me to check out different rates for the stimulus check that we got 2 weeks ago. And I did. I went around to all our banks, I checked on their regular checking account interest rates and CD rates. The CD rates, we'd have to go out 3 years to get 1/100th%. And it just, that don't make sense. We want to keep it as liquid as we can. Our primary operations bank, we got our interest rate raised 8 points, which is good right off the bat. Plus they offered to open up money market accounts so we can get an additional 0.1%. And we did that. I opened up 2 more money market accounts. We're going to move money from checking into those money market accounts and save quite a
So
bit.
those money market accounts don't have the longer commitment then?
No, they're controlled. I can't do withdrawals from them to take to other banks or invest in other things, but I can move them amongst the bank themselves as many times as I need. I only have 8 times per month to go out of the bank. And we might do it once a month, maybe.
Yeah, it just kind of makes me wonder, and this is your decision, obviously, as far as the wisdom of a long-term commitment
Yeah.
at this point.
Well, and Rex and I talked about that quite a bit too, and it's better at this point to keep things as liquid as possible so that if you guys have anything that you need to take a couple $1,000,000 and go through, I can get it this afternoon, easy.
Yeah.
So, and at this situation, it's better to keep it as liquid as possible. We can't tie up stuff for 5 years, but I'm limited by state statute how much I can go to 5 years. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time on that.
If I could throw in there, Ed brought it up, we did send the budget forms out, all departments need to get that into us by June 15th. If you have questions, you can contact us. I know everything's different this year. But if you have questions, contact us. We need those by June 15th because our office is also under the gun on a lot of things, so we can't be playing babysitter to all the departments and getting those in.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Rick, did you find out anything?
10 to 12 weeks lead time on the chiller.
10 to 12 weeks?
Yeah, that takes through some.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Refrigeration that you asked about, that is on this old system. It wouldn't be for the new.
Right, makes sense.
Trying to think if there's anything else you guys asked me. So 3 to 4 weeks, replacing what we have. 10 to 12 weeks on the new chiller.
So if we just replace what we have, is that throwing good money after bad?
You mean
Could
just
be.
replacing the 2 compressors?
I mean, we're looking at 26 years of age here.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
Chiller's the end of summer.
Yeah.
We got
Just in
video
time
on
for winter.
September.
I know it.
Just in time for winter.
I did asking, so you can get the compressors. I said, yes. And then we get the new compressors on there, I said, I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but can you wire that so it'll work beyond these bad panels we got. No guarantee, but he thought he could. I mean, that would get us until maybe until another 3 to 4 weeks until those panels come in. But we wouldn't want to do that for long term. Wire these direct.
Well, at least then we'd have conditioned air in the next month or so.
Yeah.
You know,
Was no guarantee, but he was, I might be able to finagle around it. You just have to see, if you could get the new compressors and install them, we'd have to wait on our panels.
If we would get, let's say we get 4 new compressors, and then we had to add a chiller later, we would not have to get different compressors, would we?
No.
I don't, if 4 compressors is a set, why would we want to get 2? Because we're gonna have different ages we're looking at.
because if we got the 4 new compressors, if there was a change in refrigerant, they would all have the new refrigerant and I don't know if there is or not. I don't know.
Well, I know the new chiller would be totally different refrigerant.
Right.
Yeah, so that, like, I'm kind of thinking like Rex, if you replace all the chillers at this point, or all the compressors,
Yeah.
all the compressors,
Compressors.
yeah.
We only need to replace 1 chiller though, correct?
We only need to replace two compressors. That's what you asked.
Both chillers are the same age.
Both chillers are the same age. 2 compressors are bad. The
But
other 2 are functioning.
The 150's for 1 chiller.
Right.
1 complete chiller.
Yes, that's
With
what I
4
was,
compressors. 1 chiller has 4 compressors
And 1 control panel.
and 1 control panel that will come with it.
so the 4 compressors, will that go with the chiller and control panel if we get a chiller then? Or we got to get 4
But
new
if
compressors?
we get 4 compressors, and we ended up getting a chiller, we would not have to replace the compressors.
That's
But
what I
if
was
we get a
asking.
control panel, and we got a new chiller, then we have to get a new control panel.
That's correct.
So we're paying $30,000 per control panel now, if we did that.
Yep.
And in 2 years, we had to do something different, we have shot $30,000 per control panel that we can't use.
Right. Who knows? We put the new 2 compressors on it, it may work. Whoever knows.
It could.
It could.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Okay? We'll make a decision so you know which way to go.
Thanks, Rick.
Rex,
Thank you.
my office would be glad with a couple of fans and just buy the new stuff and do it right. Don't throw good money against. just
Well, that's a
throw it
big,
away.
yeah, Rick?
Ed said he could get you a couple million.
I think, hey, that might give somebody an incentive to get a chiller here a lot quicker than 12 weeks. Okay. All right, Danielle?
So, it's real easy today. I just got an emergency admission on Friday.
Okay. You did your assessments and you feel comfortable with the
Yes.
commission? We did talk about it so she could go ahead and get it done. So, they're gonna apply for ARCH. There's no money at this point in time, so.
No social security, no income. We will apply for ARCH. He's been with a county connection in our county for 14 years, born out of states, but has been in our community for 14 years. Assessment was completed. He is a qualified candidate. He's really a good fit for Golden Meadows. That still leaves us 4 emergency male beds and 6 emergency female beds.
So you're recommending to go ahead and, yeah. So
Okay.
I'd make that motion.
Motion's been made second to go ahead and approve this admission.
I have a copy of it.
You want a copy of that, Tony? Did you want a copy of that?
If I need the information,
You
I'll
keep the
email it.
original. You keep the original, we'll give Danielle a copy.
I
I
do
need a
need-
copy.
I need a copy just to keep for our records, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
who keeps?
Yeah, we
the
can,
original?
we can make a copy of it.
Do you like me to take the original? I never have.
You can have the original if you want, I just need to scan it and just keep it in our records.
And I'll start taking the originals back.
Might be able to make a copy up here.
Yeah, I can make a copy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks a
all I
lot,
have.
Danielle. Is that,
Yes,
okay,
that's all
very
I have.
good. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thanks, Danielle.
Yes.
Okay, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are in order. These ones need to be signed in. Yeah. According to what's listed there.
Thank you.
Have a list of software agreements mostly. They're due soon, some of them are already due. We had to prolong some of the stuff that we're negotiating. Microsoft agreements, believe it or not, we can't deal with most of these companies, we can't deal directly with them. We have to get a value-added reseller in order to work on agreements with the larger companies. So with Microsoft EA agreement, we went through Dell on those. Dell has a software side as well as a hardware side, in case you didn't know that. They're fairly good size on the software. We have 2 invoices from them for the Microsoft stuff, a little over 61,000 and a little over 16,000. They'll take care of our, that's a three-year agreement, and that much is being spent each year for 3 years. That's listed there. 61,7, 65,33, and 16,142.40. That's what we'll pay every year for 3 years. Now, that does all of our Microsoft stuff. All of what we pay for email, what we pay for networking, what we pay for server licenses, what we pay for workstation licenses. And we do get reimbursed for this somewhat with, like Decatur Police Department, Decatur City Hall, wastewater, water department, fire department. These are all things outside of Adams County government that we charge all the different departments in Decatur because they come on our network. Burn Police Department pays for that, all of Geneva, everything Geneva's entirely is with us. And so we will get part of this paid back through some of that stuff. So we lease the software and we provide them with the software in order to come onto our network.
And then all that reimbursement from the interlocal agreements goes into that one line item. Is that right, Tony?
I'm messing with a copy, what was that again?
He was talking about the reimbursements through the interlocal agreements. And,
They track it, you track it.
and they get tracked into that.
Retracts.
It has to go into a revenue.
Yeah,
It's paid into a revenue, it can't go into the expense line item.
right.
Right. But I mean, it is tracked separately though.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but it just goes in as a revenue, so it has to be budgeted, or otherwise it'll go in the red. Like, yeah, we get the money, and there's a Decatur interlocal, a Bern interlocal, maybe a Geneva interlocal, but they get paid, so it's tracked, but it just goes into the revenue. I can't, that's all farther it goes, so yes, it's going into county general, but it's gotta be budgeted, it's gotta be incorporated into the budget.
Okay. Well, one thing, that's lower than what you had thought it was going to be.
Yeah, much. I mean, we worked hard on getting the negotiation down.
Right.
And we were talking about that. Maybe being pretty much above 100,000.
Right, right. So that's a good
We
thing.
worked on that.
Yep.
Um,
Okay.
Mimecast is the next one. That's what checks all our email coming in and out. It also archives all email. It's every piece of email across Adams County government. This again covers all these different entities that are outside of Adams County government. When they sign on to this, it's mandatory that they take this service as well, so their email's being checked and is being archived and all that stuff. So all these different entities also get charged a portion.
So this is based on every email account, right? So if there's any dormant email accounts, those need to be deleted so they don't reflect on the license cost.
We need to take care of that.
Yeah.
But their email, even if they're dormant, is being saved. I mean, that's part of the contract, so, we resupply the license to someone else. If someone leaves, their license is reapplied, but Mimecast still saves the email. So actually, Mimecast saves email for 99 years from 2018 when we started the service, so we can go back and for legal fees or anything like that, we can go back to any of the emails with past employees and whatever, and pull absolutely everything that was ever done with anybody who was part of Adams County Government Network.
But I remember at one time when you looked into that, we had many more email accounts than we actually had people using them.
Yeah,
So,
Mike, is this a year-by-year agreement or is this a 3-year agreement also?
year by year.
Year-by-year, okay. Okay, that's,
But all the email runs through it. That's the thing that we gotta remember. So any email coming anywhere outside, as well as any email being sent inside, all the email is archived and checked for bad imposters, bad links, bad objects that are inside of it. And we also get from Mimecast, we're able to encrypt and we're able to send large email attachments. The next one is VMware agreement. When we post these things out, if I gotta get multiple vendors to assign for these things, it's the first vendor who happens to come in to VMware and ask for discounts. Here again, we worked this one out. We came out extremely well on this one. I projected it to be much higher than what it actually turned out to be. We have a server side and we have a virtual desktop interface side. And so the server side is with Innovative Integration. They were the first one to get into VMware, so they got the highest discounts. No one else can get the same discount as them, since they entered first. They say, they come into the game, they put it in, VMware asking, who is it that you're supplying a quote for? They say it, and whoever came in first gets the highest amount of discount. That's just the way it is. So, you open it up to few vendors but it's only the first one that happens to contact them. So that's why you see a different vendor for the VDI side as well as what you see on the service side. On the VDI side, ESI was the first one to get there, so they're gonna die as a discount. And no one else can come close to it. So, but the entire side, we worked hard, lots of meetings, and that came in well under what we anticipated. Case agreement, that's what we use for asset management. Here again, this goes across all sites that are a part of Adams County government, so we will be getting some monies back from all these locations. So that is a yearly amount per case. And that's pretty much what we expected. Consulting hours, we actually need some amount of help with vendors who are certified to work on certain pieces of equipment. And this is for 100 hours. With innovative integration, we've taken on some projects dealing with firewall movement of equipment from the jail over into this building. And they use quite a bit of hours already out of the past 100 hours that we assigned. So we need to continue. We're not completely finished with the work that we assigned for them to do yet. So in that fund, there's a substantial amount that's available for this reason.
And if we didn't buy a block of time, the hourly rate would be quite high, much higher than what we have.
Yeah, it's up over $200.
Right.
Depending upon the company.
So this rate, we're at $175 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
$100 an hour.
yeah.
CBTS is the next one. We had Superior Court, when they figured it in, they figured in for the BIS reporting portion of that with 2 pieces of equipment. We actually have in Superior Court, we have 4 pieces of equipment to tie into that. So it was a counting failure when they were quoting it. That was paid for, the whole WebEx environment was paid for through CARES from last year. To put on the other 2 pieces of equipment, it's $3,017.26. We can apply to that fund that's listed there. There's a lot of money available in that fund to get this done. And the last item is McAfee annual maintenance. This is our security software for, again, everything in the county. This includes all law enforcement in the offices in Decatur, Bern, and Geneva that are with us. They would also be paying us fees back into this. But that is the annual fee for that on a 3-year contract. So we've been paying that each year for 3 years. So that comes out to be right around a little over $100,000 entirely for the 3 years.
Okay. Any additional questions, gentlemen?
Do we want to take them all together?
We'll tell you what, since we got it all printed out here, and we got it all itemized, we can go ahead and approve this.
Or is there any of them you want
Unless
to
you
take
guys want to take them
separate?
separately.
So,
And that's all in the IT budget under,
Yeah.
you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those items
Under that one account.
are all under software in the IT budget, and there's 390,000 budgeted for 2021.
There's
So,
291 left, and that comes up to 206,000.
yep, I came up with approximately 207, so we're right there.
Yeah, they're all in there.
he wants to take us by the account?
No, it's up to you. I mean, you've got it all listed
We got it
here.
all listed
and
here. I
I'd
just
make
thought we could just do it by using this page as our,
I think you can approve these because the funds are all there,
yeah.
and make sure that the auditor has a copy of this, so he can, for reference, he can put that in the minutes that these were all approved, and there's funds available in the budget.
And the other thing, these are just quotes, we sign the quote. And I assign a fixed PO number to it. Then once they receive it, then they'll get the invoice back to us. So I don't have the invoices yet because we haven't signed the quote that says we're gonna agree with it.
Okay,
So.
but you're approving,
As soon
So
as
I need a
get the
motion to
invoice,
go ahead and
it'll
approve
be
me
done.
signing the quotes,
approve,
so we can,
approve the quotes so that they can get the claims in, and then you can approve the claims. But the money's there.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded that we go ahead and approve the quotes, and I sign for the commissioners? Okay. Motion carries.
You're gonna get those back to me then.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, that some of these don't have a signature line, so I just want me to sign at the bottom of them? Okay, I'll go ahead and sign them after the meeting and bring them up to you. Are you okay? All right.
Thank you.
We do appreciate the negotiation on, especially with Microsoft and
Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate that.
Like I said, when I go to buy a used car, I'm taking you with me.
Sheriff, did you have something?
I was just wondering, is there any news on the, animal shelter update?
What we're doing now, Angie has a list of the people that expressed an interest. And so I'm gonna get that list. I don't know if you brought it down or she was gonna prepare that list. And I'm gonna contact those and try and make sure that they're aware that we've got a spec sheet out there. And then ask for specific proposals. And then from those specific proposals, once we get that, I'd like to have the task force together again and sit down and discuss those, see what our options
You
are.
believe this all can happen in the next 30 days?
Probably not.
What is
But I
what's
will,
our backup plan then for after July 1?
we've got an option to deal with the Fort Wayne company. Other than that, I don't know if we've got a specific
Okay,
option.
so we kind of have some backup to get us through, if we have to for a short time, with the backup with the Fort Wayne company?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So I apologize for not having this moved on.
I just need to know.
Sooner,
if we come to that, I need contact information for dispatch and stuff like that. If we
Sure.
have to deal with this secondary company. That's all I need, if I can get that information. Maybe that last week of June, if we know we don't have any solidified, then
I'll cover it.
it will be a smoother transition for our department where we need to contact.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Somebody did.
We're down to you, Mark.
Only thing I have is you've had the Plan Commission held a hearing, I believe it was last Tuesday on the 25th, on the amendment to the zoning ordinance, land use ordinance for solar energy systems. They approved and made a recommendation to the commissioners to approve an amendment to your land use ordinance concerning zoning for solar farms. There's two different categories. One is a personal solar energy system, which would be residential, and then the other is the solar farm energy system, which is a larger commercial system for generation of power and resale back to the grid. And so they've made a recommendation to the commissioners. The ordinance is attached to the recommendation. By statute, you have three options. They certify it to you after their hearing, which they've done, and your option is to adopt the recommendation, to reject the recommendation, or to amend it and send it back with amendments. You have 90 days from the date that it's certified to you to do one of those three things. If you take no action within 90 days, then it's considered adopted. So what I need you to do is make sure you all have a copy of the amendment, the proposed amendment to the land use ordinance, review this, and then we'll discuss it, probably at the next meeting or here within the next couple of weeks. So pretty significant, changes. It's an addition. You don't currently have any ordinance that governs solar energy farms. This is an addition to your ordinance, land use ordinance. And so as the legislative body, the commissioners are the executive and legislative body, but it calls out that the legislative body then, when you receive a recommendation like this, you've got basically 90 days to take action or not take action, in which case it's deemed adopted. So I would encourage you to read through it. I've looked through it briefly. I still want to look at some more particular aspects of it, but I've read through it here today. Read through it. You need to be informed as to what's in there. And then, if you're inclined to accept it, that can be done at any time within the next 90 days. You could do it next week. You could do it the week after. If you want to make recommendations that it be amended, that there be changes made to this, then that's probably going to take a little longer, and we'd have to discuss that more in depth, and then send it back to the Plan Commission with amendments. So that's up to you. But it's in front of you now, so make sure you've got a copy. I don't know if you've got copies yet. If not, we'll make copies and hand them out, but you definitely need to review it. You can't just approve something you haven't even reviewed yet.
Right.
So the only urgency on our part is the 90 days.
You got 90 days. It's right in the statute.
It goes back with recommendations back to the planning commission. What happens then?
They can either approve the recommendations or they would reject the recommendations and quit, in which case they would start over and they'd have another hearing, and
Does it come back then to us again?
after they would certify it back, it could come
Okay.
back.
Okay.
So
Did you guys have copies?
I don't have.
we'll make copies here before you leave, and that way you've got a copy.
Okay.
And that's it. So I looked at statute up here today, and that's what you've got. Then we've got some standards here on some guidance on the use of ARP money, which is America Recovery. What is
I
it?
looked that thing over, my goodness.
You all should have gotten, I sent copies to all three of you and to Mark. And there is a webinar this Friday from NACO regarding expected uses of ARP money. I forget what time as of right now, but
Yeah, it's about 26 pages, so I haven't had a chance to go through that
Yeah.
yet, but we gotta read that.
yeah, there is a webinar this Friday.
Is it? Okay.
I'll try to figure out what time it is, and I can email you guys the time.
Give it to
it's gonna
Erin,
be
let
if
her
you're
read it.
able to watch it.
I probably should, but I mean, I was reading through that thing, my goodness.
Yeah. And that's not saying it won't change again.
I know.
Oh, it will.
For a couple of you that have looked at the guidelines, is that something that we just need to spend some time with it ourselves? Do we need to consider consultation, or how
Well,
do you see
I don't
that?
know, Mark. I let Mark read through everything, but I think we're
We'll
gonna
read
need
through
to
it.
have-
There's all kinds of firms out there that,
Yeah,
consulting firms that you can hire.
And they'll all take your money.
That'll take your money to advise you on how to do it, but I think,
I'm not advocating that.
I think we read through it first.
Yeah,
And see what,
right.
there may be some fairly simple uses. There's uses that are much more complex than others. So we'll have to
And
read
you have
through it.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't-
Complicated
Dan,
part
did
comes up on
Did you
the
get any further
back end.
clarification on your situation?
We have, next Wednesday, we have a quote meeting where they're gonna issue a quote, and with that, they are also giving us verbiage that they believe aligns with a RP. So I will know more then, but like Mark just said,
I
this
need a
doesn't have to
copy
be
of something
appropriated until
that never
like
came
end of
out.
2024 and spent by end of 22 and spent by 24. So we have some time.
Yeah, we do. I went through the thing and I was specifically trying to pick out something that would apply to your situation. And it's,
I have a couple, and I'm waiting to see what they point
Yeah,
out to,
right.
because,
And then a new comparison, I'll come to you guys and put it in front of you under certain things. But there is some provisions for, tracking of information and software, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna be all right, but I'm very interested in our meeting next Wednesday. And then the two will have a price figure at that point also.
Right, well, that'd be good. We've got, just looking forward to hearing on that. You got anything else, Mark?
Nope, that's it. That's all I got reading to do.
Just a question, and I know we talked about this before the meeting a little bit, as far as us sitting down together, us three sitting down together to discuss, to go over and set up evaluations and also to go over our budget. Do we need to set up a special meeting for that, or what's the best way?
Yeah, you could just set it up as a time either before your regular meeting or after your regular meeting, and just as a work session, it would still be open, but you can discuss those things.
And as
So
far
we
as
can do that, we can do that after this meeting here. We can just leave it open and.
I wouldn't adjourn the meeting, just
Right.
yeah, just leave the meeting open and then review it. The press is welcome to
As far as
stay. And
evaluation, should we set up timed appointments with,
for evaluations, what, employee evaluations? Yeah, you can set those up at a particular time and then just put that down at the beginning of your meeting. It's a work session.
Do we need to
Or at the
advertise
end.
that at all?
What's that? Yeah, I would put that in I would put that in the notice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Whenever you're planning to do it.
Can we do it for next Tuesday then?
Can.
I'll just have to tell Angie to advertise it, and I'll ask Brooke to send over the correct code and all that wording and such.
Yeah, there is a session or a section for employee evaluation.
Okay, we'll do that next Tuesday then, for that part.
the evaluations, you mean?
Yeah. So we can advertise it. as a
How
work
many,
session.
people do we evaluate?
Everybody that's on the department heads.
Right, but I mean, is
I
that,
didn't know you could evaluate.
I don't know exactly the count. We'll just have to get a list.
No, there's an executive session section for that.
Do what?
There's an executive session category for employee evaluation.
You can't really discuss personnel like that in an open meeting.
right?
Okay, so
We'll have to advertise it that way.
this next Tuesday too soon to
No.
advertise? Okay.
Nope, just have to have it out 48 hours prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if we find out.
Next Tuesday, there'll be a council meeting, so we'd have to do it after our.
It's gonna be later unless you wanna do it. Well, I don't know if you'd have time before the 15th after that or not, after the 8th.
We got,
That would be the 15th.
yep. We have to do it next Tuesday.
Well, then if we set up an executive session for Tuesday afternoon,
We could do that.
and then we'll have to kind of make sure and schedule all the department heads that we're gonna evaluate for a time slot.
Well, normally we don't interview, we don't bring them in. We do this on our own.
Oh, I see, we don't bring them in.
No, we don't bring them in.
So typically for evaluations, how do other department heads typically do it in person or do it? And then just go over the evaluation with the employee?
Yeah. They just do it on their own and then sit
So
down.
we-
with them,
we
they
incorporate,
do an evaluation, sign it,
Mark,
they turn
can we
it
incorporate the budget along in that executive session?
Well, that's
So
what
the
I'm
three
wondering, if we
commissioners
should
go over the
still,
budget.
even
Maybe.
if we sit down as
Well, let me
the
look.
three of
Do
us
both of those at the same
to,
time.
to fill out the
I won't know
evaluations
Angie
and then
on that
schedule
then
an
until I
appointment
hear
with the
back.
employee.
Yeah, we'll figure it
So
out,
in
how
the
to advertise
past,
it.
each commissioner would
Okay.
do their own evaluation on each department head.
Okay.
That's how it was done in the past. I mean, you can always change that if you want to, but I would give them the forms. They would just do it on their own. And actually, last year, they turned in 3 forms for each commissioner. In previous years, they would do it together, and so you would see, like, Doug would be in one color, whatever. So, I mean, it's however you want to do it. Last year, I think they did it individually.
Okay, so each of us would evaluate each appointed position.
You would do that anyway, it's just how you would document it. Like if you need to put it on a form, if you wanna put it on one form. Everything's automated now, so we would appreciate it if you could, instead of writing it out, do it in the computer.
So it would do the
Aaron, we
calculation.
thought,
It would do the calculation itself, which would be very helpful for each.
Well-
we thought that we would discuss it in an executive session
Thank you.
and then go ahead and do one Excel sheet for each one.
That would be perfect. And so it'd be you three representing that you all agree this is what that
Right,
person's score
right.
would be. Is what you're saying?
From your memory, do you know approximately how many people we will have to evaluate?
I was afraid you were gonna ask me that.
I mean, is it 5?
It's not elected officials, it's just appointed
Right,
government.
sure.
And so I don't know that,
About
Not even a
5 to
dozen.
7, something like
yeah, I
that.
don't even think it's a dozen yet.
Yeah.
I'd say eight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not a lot, but. And that would be new if y'all did it together and came up with one score or one. But
Right.
then you
So
all have
they
to
can
sit
evaluate
down, or if you all agree, then maybe one of you could sit down with the employee and give him that feedback so that he
Right.
would sign.
So will we have to, in amongst these evaluations, will we have to evaluate Shannon at this time, or will we wait
I
until?
think it's probably pretty early to do that. I mean, it might not be a bad idea to set up something maybe in 3 months or 6 months to sit down with her and just go over, since she's new appointed. She in turn can give you that feedback as well. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
What's
That,
that?
that's something you guys can
Sentence now.
discuss.
Yeah.
I did a-
Rather than letting
I
it
did a
go a
letter.
full entire year before you
You did?
actually
I
sit
did a
down
letter,
and
I'm
discuss
still
how it's
finishing it,
going.
but I did a
Might be
letter
good
last
idea
Friday.
That's even
that
better. Did Barry
Right.
ask you?
3 months,
Hmm?
after 3 months, 'cause she'll see a
Okay.
lot and
Yeah.
learn a lot.
Would-
pretty
Would
much.
Aaron and I
would a
need to
current
meet.
evaluation,
Yeah, no, I've been.
since
I worked
we
on it
have
this week.
the,
I'm gonna send that
incentives,
this week. It's gotta be
would
posted
that
by the
affect,
9th.
Okay.
FYI.
Tony's budget for her salary?
I believe she is remaining in Tony's budget for salary.
Yep.
You're actually not eligible for that increase. The policy says what you probably could do is just, I don't know, we'd have to think about that one, because there's people that are new hired aren't eligible for that increase up to like after 6 months or something to that degree. But you could, like I said, sit down with her in that 6 months. She could get that pay increase for next year, but it would be a late evaluation.
Right.
But you could include that in, say, she gets a 5, then you can include that incentive, if you will, in the budget, anticipating an increase or,
Yeah.
that could be a part of it. So she would be eligible as of January.
Okay, because I'd hate to see her miss out on that for the sake of lack of an evaluation, so.
Right, you just would have to do it later on in the process versus turning it in. Did, Tony, when you sent out the budget, was evaluation sent out at that time too, that are due back as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember if it was the same email, but we have sent out emails that we need both evaluations and budgets.
so the evaluation form went out and
Right.
they're due back June
Right.
15th as well, okay.
Yep.
And those would then go to you.
Okay, so we're gonna have an executive session then next Tuesday.
Tuesday
And
afternoon.
then we'll talk about the employee evaluations, and we'll talk about the budget. Okay. Good enough?
Yep, that
Do
sounds
you
good.
all have that employee evaluation on your computers? You were included in that email as well? Okay.
So-
And would it be possible for me to be involved as a learning opportunity, that first part of that session?
She
Yeah.
could be in that, she could be in that executive
She's
session.
HR,
Yeah.
she should be able to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that would be a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
are currently working on your office situation. We have a couple options but we have to clear some junk out of certain rooms that, will give us some options. But from what I understand, you're gonna be working with Bree in Bree's office for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So in the meantime, we're kind of trying to make an appropriate space for you. So
Might not be a bad idea to send out something telling all these department heads that Shannon's on board as of now.
Okay, we'll do that today.
There is some space in the boiler room downstairs.
Well, you can fix the chiller while you're down there.
I tell you, if you're down there, it's a little bit cooler down there, so maybe everybody do their work down in the basement, you know?
Yeah. But we felt like that was one thing, with all the HR duties that Aaron was doing, didn't have an appropriate space for privacy when there was issues discussed with an employee, so.
If something does come up and you need privacy, we'll be able to provide that,
Okay.
So,
okay, anything else, gentlemen? Okay, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
second.
Motion to adjourn. Motion carries.